Now, your forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, for about another minute or so, a severe thunderstorm watch still in effect for portions of McLean, Sangamon County, but it's this tornado watch here for Livingston, Fort, and Iroquois that goes until 8 p.m. Here's what we're tracking with all of this activity, a line of strong thunderstorms moving through, but right now in our area, we don't have any warnings in effect. But let's zoom in because I want to show you Gibson City there. You're getting some heavy rainfall. Just moved through Bellflower. Fisher, you're up next. Mahomet as well. You're going to get in on some of this. Just moving through Cerro Gordo. Bemint and Whiteheath, you're next to find these storms as they move through, and even down around the Shelbyville area. So there is a very small window of opportunity for maybe a strong to severe storm. We're tracking this for you. We'll have the very latest when we come back. WCIA 3 News starts right now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
A former Central Illinois pastor is facing sexual assault and abuse charges. What a woman claims he did when she was just a child. And the IHSA went against the governor and public health, saying the basketball season would go on. But our Central Illinois schools set to take the court.
And the state capitol was set to host the fall veto session next week, while lawmakers will not be headed to Springfield. What a difference a few hours make, from 70 degrees and sunny to strong winds and thunderstorms. This is a live look in Decatur as the rain is falling. Good evening. I'm Paul Cicchini.
And I'm Jessica Coons in for Jennifer tonight. The strong line moved into the area this afternoon. It included wind with gusts up to 50 miles an hour. Our chief meteorologist, Kevin Leidy, joins us now. So, Kevin, break down what's the latest for us.
Well, there's some good news with this, and that is that currently there are no warnings in effect. But take a look here, and we'll zoom in a little closer once again to these areas to kind of show you exactly what we've got. And there are a few lightning strikes that are showing up. We just had the storms kind of rolling through the Gibson City area, as you can see. Pretty good little area there. And what I'll do is I can switch things over to our camera that is also in Gibson City and show you what it is looking like. And you can see, like as that car comes through, like the sheets of rain that are flowing across the roadway there in Gibson City. So that's one area that is being impacted by the storms here right now. And then we can take you further south. You can see Shelbyville there. Going to have some of that. Hammond, a little lightning strike there to Lovington. And there it is again, right along this whole line. And as we kind of zoom out, if you're curious, if you're in portions like of Champaign County into Vermilion County, eventually this line is going to make it in here down towards Douglas County as well and Tuscola. I think Champaign in the next hour or so, you'll start to see some of this rain and storm move in. Again, tornado watch in effect until 8 p.m. for Fort, Iroquois, Livingston County. We'll keep you up to date if any warnings get issued, and we'll have your full forecast coming up here in just a little bit.
All right, Kevin, thanks so much. Other news tonight, a former Danville pastor is facing sexual assault and abuse charges.
Timothy Shaw was the pastor of Second Baptist Church of Danville. He was arrested 2 weeks ago in Fairview Heights. That's in the St. Louis area. WCIA 3's Courtney Bunting joins us now. So, Courtney, you spoke to the accuser about these charges.
That's right, Paul. She was actually his cousin, and she says he started sexually abusing her when she was living in East St. Louis. She was just 9 at the time. That was 14 years ago, but she says it still affects her to this day. At 23 years old, Tamaya Sanders says she still carries the weight of what she went through as a child.
It did mess me up mentally, emotionally.
Sanders says she was sexually abused by her cousin Timothy Shaw, starting when she was 9. He was 16 and had just moved in with Sanders' family after his mother passed away.
I did have very low self-esteem growing up. Like, I was very promiscuous. You know, I was looking for love in all the wrong places because I didn't know how to love myself.
Shaw is now charged with sexual assault and abuse in St. Clair County. But until just a few weeks ago, he was still the pastor of Second Baptist Church in Danville.
It is another day that the Lord has made, and we shall be glad and rejoice in it.
Sanders doesn't live in Danville, but she held a rally outside the church to spread awareness about Shaw.
And I have, like, older women, like, older than me, like in their 30s, reaching out to me saying, like, he did this to him when they was younger, you know, around his age and stuff like that, because I was 9 at the time and he was 16.
She hopes her courage helps them share their stories, too.
The most surprising thing is just, like, all of these people coming forward and to know that it took me to get this man behind bars.
Sanders says Shaw has since been removed as pastor of Second Baptist Church. I called the church several times to get a response from them. I also Facebooked them, but I haven't gotten an answer yet. I also left a voicemail with the number I found for Shaw, but have yet to hear back as well. Live in the newsroom, Courtney Bunting, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Of course, if you do hear back, let us know. Courtney, thanks. A U of I employee is facing backlash after posting tweets some students say are prejudiced. In 2013, Larry Jacobson tweeted, quote, "I won't tolerate Islam." Last month, he said terrorists would thank President-elect Joe Biden for hiring Muslims in his administration. U of I released a statement saying his tweets go against school values. It says he posted them on personal time and he's not involved with student disciplinary office. Champaign police said no one was hurt this morning after shots were fired in a neighborhood. It happened around 11:30 near Ridgewood Court and South Duncan Road. Police said some cars were hit. No word on who's responsible.
5 more people have lost their lives to COVID-19 in Champaign County. It's the largest daily rise in new COVID deaths. That includes 1 woman in her 70s, 2 men in their 80s, and 1 man in his 90s. That makes 37 deaths in Champaign County. There are 79 new deaths across the state, several of those in central Illinois counties. The state has now lost more than 10,000 people to the virus. And it's another record-setting day for cases in Illinois. More than 12,000 were reported. There are now around 511,000 overall. The positivity rate is 12%. We have a follow-up for you. The future of high school basketball hangs in the balance for players across the state.
The IHSA moved against the governor and Department of Public Health guidance nearly 2 weeks ago, saying the season would start on time. But that decision's in question tonight. WCIA 3 Sports Director Brett Behrens joins us now. So, Brett, what are area schools saying tonight about playing?
Most of them say there's not much of a chance that they're going to play. I do know of one that is planning to play. That's St. Anthony in Effingham. Their AD, Kevin Palmer, tells me tonight they've got approval from the Diocese of Springfield to move forward. Most of the other area districts are either still in the decision-making process or have already voted to put the season on hold. The IHSA Board of Directors will meet tomorrow afternoon in an update session to talk about feedback they've gotten from hundreds of member schools and their intentions on whether or not to move forward with the season right now. If an official meeting is called by the board, they could take action and vote on moving forward with the plan to play as is, postpone the season, cancel, or try and move it. As of right now, the Urbana Board is voting tonight on what to do. Several others have already made that call, including St. Thomas More and Schlarman. They will not play all year. That's from the diocese in Peoria. Salt Fork is postponed. I'll have more info coming up in sports about one conference that made a league-wide decision today. And that's the first that I've heard of, that an entire conference is coming together to make those plans.
Yeah, well, you kind of expect that to make sense, right? If the one school, couple schools, 3 schools, and one conference aren't going to play, who are you going to play at the end of the day?
That's the biggest question, and that's what I asked Kevin Palmer from St. Anthony. I said, who are you going to play? Because if you don't have that many teams there, you're not going to have any opponents. All
right, Brett, thanks. In other news, leaders of Monticello schools say they plan to stick to in-person learning following a recent spike in coronavirus cases in the area. The superintendent says most students are learning in person right now, and the numbers make him confident to keep it that way. He says they have a total of 13 cases across the district's 5 buildings. That includes 1 new case reported today at Washington School. 222 students and staff members in the district are in self-quarantine because of possible close contact exposure to the virus. In an email, the superintendent did tell Washington School parents he would have to consider fully remote learning if cases continue to rise.
Some outside of school events that happen around Halloween weekend. Of course, nobody can be 100% certain where COVID is spread, but what we do know is in school we're following the COVID safety guidelines, so we're fairly certain that the spread isn't happening at school. So
in a statement, the DeWitt-Pi County Health Department director said, in part, quote, "We are seeing a great number of cases and contacts in area residents stemming from birthday parties and a recent wedding. Now is not the time for these sorts of events. In each circumstance, we've had cases that had as many as 30 people named as close contacts who were forced into quarantine." He also added for people to be patient as the health department team works on contact tracing and to take proper precautions in the meantime.
The number of hospitalizations in the state have doubled over the last month because of COVID. So how are hospitals dealing with that influx of patients?
Also tonight,
we just have so many things we need to accomplish.
The number of cases continues to increase each day. What move the governor made in response?
And we're tracking a line of storms moving across central Illinois. Monticello just had a pretty little storm there. But now all eyes from places like Champaign up to Rantoul, Loda, and down towards Tuscola, southern portions of Champaign County. We'll track the latest with this line and let you know what to expect when we come back.